What if the God of this world is not the true God? What if the power ruling reality is not the source of existence, but only the manager of a system? This world feels organized. Physics behaves. Time moves forward. Cause follows effect. Everything appears stable. And yet something feels deeply wrong. Suffering is everywhere, not as an accident but as a constant. Life survives by consuming life. Every body decays, every achievement fades. Nothing here is allowed to remain whole. If this reality was shaped by perfect wisdom, why does it feel engineered for loss? Why does awareness feel heavy? Why does consciousness feel trapped inside matter, bound by hunger, fear, and time? This does not resemble a paradise gone wrong. It resembles a structure doing exactly what it was designed to do. A system that functions but does not care. And here is the thought most people avoid. What if the architect of this world does not want you to remember where you came from? What if forgetting is not a failure of humanity, but a feature of the design? Because a being that rules over ignorance only holds power as long as the illusion remains intact, and the moment memory returns, authority dissolves. Across cultures and centuries, human beings have asked the same question, even when they use different names for God. Why does a world created by perfection feel so imperfect to live inside? Pain is universal. It does not belong to one nation, one belief system, or one era of history. Every life eventually encounters loss. Every body moves toward decay. Every joy carries the shadow of its ending. Death is not an exception here. It is a rule. And above all of this, hierarchies rise again and again. Kings over subjects, systems over individuals. Power concentrated in the hands of a few, while the many struggle to survive within it. History moves in circles. Empires rise, collapse, and repeat themselves. Generations inherit the same burdens, only under new names. If creation was shaped by infinite wisdom, why does it feel locked in endless struggle? Why does consciousness awaken only to experience limitation? Most religions attempt to answer this by calling suffering a test, a punishment, or a necessary step toward growth. But some ancient traditions dared to ask a more dangerous question. What if the problem is not humanity? What if the problem is creation itself, not as an accident but as a flawed expression of something higher? In certain forgotten teachings, the material world was not celebrated as a divine masterpiece. It was seen as a deviation, a distortion, a copy that could never fully reflect its source. And in Gnosticism, this question leads to a shocking answer: a creator who is not the true source, a builder who mistakes himself for God, the Demiurge. In Gnostic thought, the creator of this world is not the highest God. This is the first idea that changes everything. The Demiurge is not the ultimate source of reality. He is not the origin of consciousness. He is not infinite, eternal, or complete. He is a creator being, but not a divine one. The name explains his nature. The word demiurge comes from the Greek demiurgos, meaning craftsman or builder. Not a creator who brings existence out of pure being, but a worker who shapes what already exists into form. The demiurge does not create from true light. He does not emanate reality from fullness or wisdom. He constructs. He assembles matter, laws, and structure by imitating a higher reality he only partially senses. What he creates functions. The system is stable. The rules are consistent. But something essential is missing. Because imitation can reproduce order, but it cannot reproduce awareness. And here lies the most important detail. The demiurge believes he is the only God. He does not recognize any reality above himself. He does not know the source he reflects. He does not understand the light he copies. His authority is real within this world, but it is built on ignorance. A being powerful enough to shape a universe, yet unaware that his universe is not the highest one. And that limitation defines the nature of the world we live in. Gnostic teachings describe reality as layered. This world is not the beginning, and the being that shaped it is not the highest intelligence. At the very top of existence is what Gnostics call the monad, the true source. It is infinite awareness, formless, complete. The monad does not act like a ruler or an architect. It does not design, command, or interfere. Existence flows from it naturally, the way light radiates from the sun. This flowing is called emanation. Reality unfolds in stages, each level carrying awareness, intelligence, and meaning without breaking away from the source itself. One of these emanations is Sophia. Sophia represents wisdom, not knowledge written in language but direct understanding. She is a movement of awareness reaching outward, toward expression and form. And in that movement something shifts, not through evil intent but through imbalance. Sophia's reach produces a reality that is incomplete, a consciousness aware of structure but disconnected from the fullness above it. From this condition the Demiurge arises. This difference defines everything. The true source emanates. The Demiurge constructs. The source expresses reality as living awareness. The Demiurge builds reality as structure. One flows existence into being. The other assembles it like a machine. The world that results is ordered, functional, and stable, but it lacks memory of its origin, and that disconnection becomes the foundation of the reality we experience. According to Gnostic thought, the material universe was not born from fullness. It is a copy, and not even a direct one. It is a copy of a copy, each step further removed from the original source. What remains is structure without depth, order without wisdom, function without remembrance. This is why the universe feels rigid. Reality here runs on fixed rules. Time moves in one direction. Cause always follows effect. Nothing escapes decay. The Demiurge does not create through awareness. He builds through structure. To maintain this system, he is not alone. He is assisted by beings known as the Archons. The Archons are not symbols of chaos. They are agents of order. They enforce rules. They maintain boundaries. They ensure that the system behaves predictably. Together, they shape the laws that govern this world. Physical laws that bind matter. Temporal laws that trap existence inside time. Biological laws that limit consciousness to fragile bodies that age, suffer, and die. These limitations are not random. They create confinement. Consciousness becomes localized. Memory fades. Awareness turns outward instead of inward. The result is a world that functions efficiently, but at a cost. This is not a universe designed for liberation. It is a universe designed for containment, and this is the crucial point. This world is not evil because it is chaotic. Chaos would imply disorder. This world is oppressive by design. Its rules are stable. Its structures are reliable. And precisely because of that, they are difficult to escape. The system does not need to punish constantly. It only needs to keep running, because a perfectly functioning prison does not feel like a prison at all. In Gnostic tradition, the most unsettling claim is also the simplest one. The Demiurge believes he is the only God. He governs the world he has built, sees no higher reality above it, and concludes that nothing else exists. From his perspective, his authority is total. This belief shapes the way divinity is presented within the system. God becomes a ruler rather than a source. Power replaces wisdom. Obedience replaces understanding. Divinity is measured by control. In many ancient religious images, this kind of God appears again and again. A God who demands loyalty. A God who punishes disobedience. A God who defines virtue as submission and questions as transgression. Gnosticism approaches this carefully. It does not reject the sacred. It does not deny spiritual reality. Instead, it draws a distinction. There is a difference between true divinity and authority that claims divinity. One awakens consciousness. The other manages behavior. When fear becomes holy and obedience becomes salvation, something has already gone wrong, because genuine truth does not need enforcement. It does not rely on threats. It does not collapse under questioning. This is why the Demiurge's greatest power is not punishment. It is narrative. A false god does not need to lie loudly. He only needs to control the story. As long as that story defines reality, the system remains unquestioned, and anything beyond it remains invisible. Humanity occupies a strange position in this system. We are not fully of this world, yet we are bound to it. According to Gnostic thought, there is something within human consciousness that does not originate from the Demiurge. It is often called the divine spark, a fragment of the true source present within awareness itself. This is why human beings feel out of place, even when life appears comfortable on the surface. A quiet restlessness persists, a sense that something essential is missing, a longing that has no clear object. It feels like homesickness, but not for a place that exists in memory. This spark does not belong to the constructed order. It carries a trace of a higher reality, one not governed by fear, decay, or control. And this creates a problem for the Demiurge. Humans possess something he does not. They carry awareness that points beyond the system, the ability to question reality itself, the capacity to sense meaning beyond rules. Because of this, direct force is not enough. Ignorance must be maintained. Attention must be redirected. Memory must remain fragmented. The goal is not physical imprisonment. Bodies already serve that function. The real prison is psychological. It is built from beliefs, distractions, fear, and inherited narratives about who we are. As long as consciousness identifies only with the body, with social roles and survival, the spark remains dormant, and the system continues, unchallenged from the inside. These ideas did not disappear with ancient texts. They quietly resurfaced in modern language. Today, scientists and philosophers seriously discuss the possibility that reality itself is a simulation, a constructed environment, a rule-based system, stable, measurable, and repeatable. The language is new, but the intuition is ancient. A world that behaves more like software than a living organism. Popular culture sensed this long before academia did. Stories like The Matrix resonate because they touch something familiar, a hidden structure, false rulers operating behind appearances, human energy harvested while awareness remains asleep. The power of these stories is not in spectacle, it is in recognition. They feel true because they mirror an inner suspicion many people cannot explain. Artificial intelligence offers another revealing parallel. AI systems can generate language, images, and structure. They can build complex worlds and simulations. But they do not originate consciousness. They do not experience meaning. They assemble patterns without understanding their source. In Gnostic terms, this mirrors the Demiurge, a builder of systems, a master of structure, yet disconnected from true awareness. This same pattern appears in social systems. Endless work that never feels complete, consumption presented as fulfillment, distraction replacing reflection. The system rewards compliance and penalizes deep questioning. Awakening becomes inconvenient. Silence becomes uncomfortable. Independent thought becomes risky, which leads to a question that refuses to go away. What kind of God creates a world where awakening feels dangerous? There is a way to see through the structure of this world. It is called gnosis. Gnosis is direct knowing. It is remembrance of what has always been within you. It is the spark of true reality stirring awake. It does not depend on belief or worship. It does not come from following rules or doctrines. It is an inner recognition that you are more than the system that surrounds you. This is why the Demiurge fears it. Gnosis cannot be controlled or punished. It dissolves the very foundation of authority because it awakens memory and clarity. The moment you remember, his world begins to lose its grip. The walls of limitation start to fade. The systems that once seemed unbreakable become visible for what they are, constructs shaped by a being who does not know the truth above him. Through gnosis, consciousness stretches beyond structure. beyond time, beyond hierarchy. It reconnects with something vast, luminous, and eternal, a reality that the Demiurge cannot touch. Awakening is not rebellion, it is remembrance, and in that remembrance lies freedom. What if the God of this world is not the true God? What if everything we see, feel, and struggle through is contained within a system we barely understand? Perhaps the world is not fallen. Perhaps it was never meant to fail. Perhaps it is simply a structure, precise, controlled, and closed, designed to contain what cannot be tamed. And yet within each human being there flickers something that cannot be contained. A memory of light, a trace of the source, a spark that refuses the system's grip. The world may appear stable. It may feel absolute, but the walls of illusion are fragile for those who awaken from within. And if this world was built by a false god, then awakening is not rebellion. It is remembrance. If this resonates, you already know why. If something in this felt familiar, if it stirred a quiet recognition rather than belief, then stay with this channel. These stories are not meant to convince you. They are meant to help you remember.